Hello, YouTube. My name is Ken Kadia. This is not a normal episode of one of these several series that I've been doing here on Ken Kadia's channel. This is actually a sort of an open application. Now, at the moment, I'm actually in the process of moving, so I don't really have the opportunity to really go into a new series at the moment. However, I think in the fall, I'm going to have enough time. So what I'm saying is that I would very much be interested in joining a multiplayer YouTube server. Maybe doing vanilla, possibly doing modded stuff. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. But I want this video to serve as a kind of an open application to that kind of server, just to sort of showcase the kind of stuff I've done on a vanilla game. It's a single player game. Just sort of messing around, doing as much as I can, doing what seems like fun to me. And the other thing is that I'm probably not going to hang out of this world for too often. This is like the 20th vanilla world I've made since I started playing Minecraft, and I've done pretty much everything that I can in here. I have actually just recently finished searching for about 2 or 3 Minecraft weeks to try and find some cocoa beans, and that was a failure. But I was able to find some brown sheep, so I was able to complete all 16 colors of wool. That was a little bit of an achievement for myself. Nicely done. So what I have right here is my switching station, although you notice it doesn't actually have any switches. That's because I am not really that good with redstone. I tried. I was able to get some slimes, and I made some sticky pistons. I made some repeaters and comparators. I could not freaking get a switching station to function here. I couldn't. So I said the heck with it, and I did it. I'm doing this with buttons and with powered tracks. These 4 directions lead off to the various sub bases that I made. But first I want to show you my main base over here. I call it my mountain fortress. My spawn point was about over there. I went around for a while and it's like, oh, that's a mountain over there. I want to build like almost like a pueblo inside of the mountain. So let me show you what I built. Okay, so if you look on your left over here, you see kind of like pillars. Those are actually wood. On top of them are redstone lamps, so glowstone lamps, attached with wooden buttons. And what those do is when you stand there, where those torches are on top of that thing, is my archery range. That's right, when you hit a wooden button attached to a redstone lamp, it will complete a circuit, Red Mountain Fortress terminal, and allow the light to turn on. I'll show you how that works in just a minute. So this little terminal here, I built this above ground. This is where I first landed. I dug straight in as far as I could, and I made this little mine. This is a CoStar 3x3. It goes pretty far down. This is actually a extreme hills biome, so I was able to get a fair amount of emerald, which came in handy later on when I found a village. And like I said, I was able to get all 16 colors of wool. A little achievement here. I guess here's my nether portal, and I'll give you a quick tour of my nether setup. It's not really anything fancy. The main thing I did was I built basically a cobblestone box, and this is just for safety because I keep getting attacked by gas because where I spawn is pretty open. But you see I have pathways here. What I use is these torches in order to navigate around, try and find my way back when I get out. Oh, hello, Mr. Pigman. Yeah, they come in and out despite my putting torches around here. So what I did over here is I made a couple pathways over there and over there. It took me a long time to find another fortress, I'll tell you. So when I found one, I went sort of all out for it. Now, if I remember correctly, okay, this way here leads towards one nether fortress, and this way leads to a second one. I built this, and you can see I built it on top of a lava pool. Not the smartest thing in the world, and it took me a long time to build it, but I think it was worth it for the safety and the convenience of being able to go back and forth. So I cleaned out the nether fortress, didn't get a heck of a lot, but I got the essentials. One thing a couple things I did not get was I didn't get melon seeds, I didn't get cocoa seeds, which were kind of hard to find, but I did eventually find those, the melon seeds anyway, via villager trading. The cocoa beans, unfortunately, no cookies for me. Ah well. So I was able to make a brewing stand here. We got a couple of torches, glowstone lamps for illumination. Got nether wart here. Got some potions. I'm mostly using regeneration and fire resistance. I was using a fair amount of speed as I was looking for the jungle biome. I could not freaking find one. So this is my little observation platform. I built it over here to sort of emphasize the view. I really like the idea of being able to look over here and see a kind of a patio almost. I like the fact that it goes all the way down. Although I wish I had done a little more interesting things with the landscape here, so when I look down, it's actually more interesting than what it actually is. But oh well. So go down here. I got my little farm area, and first thing I did was the sugar cane. This is my first little farm, and I expanded it to include. Right now, I have carrots, and I have wheat, and these are jack-o'-lanterns because back here I've got the rest of my stuff. Melons, which I was able to find. I found 5 pumpkin seeds, but I had a massive backlog of skeleton bones. I was able to grow this fairly quickly. I got some pumpkins in a swamp biome, which I'll show you in a minute. I have my real sugarcane crop over here, and I just recently, oh crap, it's raining. Just recently got some cactus in a far desert, so I'm growing that. But my main reason I wanted cactus anyway was to make cactus green, so I could make a couple different kinds of dye. Also because we are in Minecraft 1.7.9. These are rose bushes. We had all the new generation here. So over here, I have my hoe attached here to enchanting room. This is the second thing I built, and I didn't want to put it like this, but the layout of where what my base was, I couldn't resist the views. So this area over here is pretty much the way I found it. It had this natural opening. When I was looking over here up at it, I was like, I have to build this. This is too good of a view to pass up on. So here's my chain table. I got my equipment here, anvil, normal stuff. I thought about putting a track in here, but yeah, I think I wouldn't need that. I wouldn't need it that often. And the one unfortunate thing I found in this enchant table, I need to learn more about enchanting. I'm not really that good with it because I have made about 9 diamond swords with level 30 enchantments, and none of them have gotten looting. That's really freaking annoying. See, I got the remnants right here. Okay, so I'm going to sleep quickly. And it's a beautiful day to go for a little swim. Geronimo! I actually hollowed out this little pool myself. It was a pond, a puddle before I started working on it. So I have 2 buildings over here. On the left, this is my barn, and it's sort of an experiment in unusual architecture. It's not the most efficient design, I'll give you that much. So basically what it is, 2 floors. First floor, I've got over here my pig area. And I get the pork from them. I got my sheep area here. I got the wool from these guys. And if I go around here, you saw on the front, I have my cows over here. I'm using them quite a bit because I needed the leather from them. And I use the wheat to breed them as well. I try not to keep too many at any one time, even though I could like fill this thing up, because I prefer not to get low FPS. I'm playing Minecraft on a MacBook Pro, so it's not the best performance in general. Right now, I am playing vanilla and recording, and I'm getting 14 to 16 FPS, which is absolute crap. But for me, it's what I have to deal with. And over here on the top floor, I have my chickens. I have a little chicken lock. Okay, and right next to the barn, with this pond, I transplanted these sunflowers over here. Not the nicest arrangement. I wish I'd done a little more with this thing here, but once I realized I wanted to put a stables, I needed the space for this. This thing is kind of cool. This is red stained glass, and I think I might use about a stack and a half to get that. Red was pretty plentiful around here. And I got I found slimes. I made leashes and was able to get 2 donkeys, and I have 2 horses, including this guy. You know, I have not found a name tag. I'm calling this guy Mr. Shine after the character from Discworld. Mr. Shine, him diamond. Get it? Because he's wearing diamond armor. And I found a fair bit of armor, so I'll show you up here. This is kind of my trophy room. So here I have horse armor, all different types, saddles, leashes, and my Ender Dragon egg. Cool, isn't it? Now, unfortunately, I was not able to get a looting sword, so I could not do the wither. That's one thing I wanted to do in this, but it's just been a pain. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, so I'll try and do that in the future. And if I can just show you quickly how this little archery range works. I wanted it to be a little bit irregular, but I would require a little more grinding of chickens than I was prepared for at the moment. See? Oh, that one didn't even stick. Occasionally, oh, I did stick. Interesting, a little glitch. So when it hits the wooden button, it stays put. Now, another cool part is that this area is lit up. However, all this is not. So at night, if I'm feeling particularly, bloodthirsty, I'll come out here and go do some target practice and then fire on the actual mobs that spawn here. This whole region, because it's so flat, is where I was able to get all my ender pearls. And yes, I have, well, obviously by the ender dragon egg, I've been to the end. Cool. So this is my mountain base here. So I'm going to give you a brief tour of the other locations that I built. And I basically built more than one because I like to build stuff. I mean, and I like playing the game, but to me, a large portion of it is also building. So I can't just have one base. I like to have multiple bases, just because different projects to work on. I feel like once I actually finish building something, I kind of start to lose interest in it. So I always need new things to keep me interested. So I'm going to take you and show you my villager spawner very quickly. So I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see on your left over here, we have a village. This is only one of 2 villages I've been able to find in this whole world. I've been searching for quite some time. This was the first one I found, and it was a fairly small one, so I took it upon myself to have these guys breed. And you can see, you can see right now, but I do have actually 2 iron golems to spawn in there. I'm not the greatest expert at building mob grinders, mob traps, that kind of thing, but I saw this design from Pyrostasis video. So I took it, basically it's just a rectangle with a whole crap load of doors. Those are 3 lines of doors in there. And I took this as an opportunity to learn how villagers and iron golems actually function. I learned, for example, that if you hit the iron golems, they will keep hitting you back. They're not just neutral. And if you happen to hurt even accidentally the villagers, the iron golems will also kill you. So not the most fun thing in the world. This is just a little trading post I built. It's 2 above the ground, so zombies can't get to it. You can kind of see right here, there's a pillar of dirt. That's how I get in and out. I could have built something a little more advanced. I am playing this on hard mode. I could have made it like an iron door or something, but I figured there's no real need for it. Also, I'm not sure how villagers function with iron doors, so that might have got a little messed up there. If you notice over here, this blacksmith, it did actually catch on fire. I think I may have harvested the wrong materials in there at some point. It did catch on fire, so I didn't know it could do that, but apparently it can. Makes sense when you put lava next to wood. And also this church here, I took off the top part. That's actually my base, so that if this area, there's actually a mine shaft underneath it. So, okay, let's head back, and I'll show you my Christmas tree castle. Okay, we're coming up on it now. There it is. It's nothing too fancy, just something I feel like I really wanted to make. And I feel like building in a snow biome. So I was like, okay, well, I'm building in a snow biome, I might as well build a castle. So the coolest thing about this is you actually can't see is right down there to up to this tower over here is actually not an elevator, but it's a way up and down by a staircase. So it does have an sort of emergency exit. Okay, I have a terminal over here. This little platform is actually a floating rock, and I sort of leveled it out a little bit, made it a little more functional. So like I said, nothing too fancy. If I do rebuild this at some point, I'll make it a little more interesting. I just shoved a whole bunch of cobblestone all around it. This back here, it was my my spruce farm. I lit this place up because it gained a lot of mobs. Over there is my observation platform, kind of my favorite part of this, other than this. I know this is not Christmas time. I really felt like making a Christmas tree. So I made one, and I kept the roof open so that when so the snow comes in, and when it snows here, it's quite beautiful. It just looks like Christmas. And I made staircases here, so it kind of looks like a tree stand. Got my supplies over here. I should show you. This is typically how I organize my inventory. I like to use the signs as opposed to the item frames. There's my tunnel down out that way. It's just the way I prefer it because I can get more information on that than I can with an item frame. I think I wanted to put a roof over here, but I don't know. I still like the idea of coming out here when it's snowing. I got some panes here, and look down, look out. Pretty good view. You know, I cannot play with far render distance. I still like the view, and even the sunset's pretty cool too. So moving on, I'm gonna sleep through the night, and I'll show you my What is it? Oh, my witch's hut. Okay, so we're now approaching my last base. If you look underneath, you'll see this is the swamp area. I needed slimes when I was trying to make a switching station, which didn't actually turn out to be, viable, or at least within my scope of ability. But you'll notice as we're approaching the witch hut, you'll see these pillars made with birch logs and glowstone. Before I installed this above ground railway, I needed a way of easily seeing where my various bases were in relation to each other. So I figured I would take some birch logs and glowstone, which I had in abundance from the nether, and basically each one of these pillars is within line of sight of the other one. So from the ground, you'll be able to, if you see one of them, you'll be able to see two others from distance. Here we go. We're approaching the witch hut. Part of the reason I built this, the swamp, the closest swamp is actually closer to it, is because I wanted to build through a mountain. I could have embellished this a little bit. I've seen people on the Minecraft server do some cool things with the tunnels, but this is as much as I could manage. Okay, here we are. Last stop, witch hut. There it is. I base this off of the actual spawning witch hut. I know it's much larger, but I didn't do it exactly to scale. And you can say I didn't use the same color scheme. Believe it or not, before I clean out the lily pads, I actually died a couple times from those things. Hello. These guys too, they killed me quite a bit. There we go. So what I did over here is I have lily pad paths from the terminal. This goes over towards that dark forest, as close as dark forest. So I needed that for some building materials. So under here, this leads over to a small pumpkin patch. I mean, you can't have a witch hut, you have to have a pumpkin patch over here. And you go in via the water to a trap door. And here we are. Now we have quite a few jack-o'-lanterns. I use them as illumination all around. I like the effect it gives. I have bricks. I have all kinds of wood in pots and things. I even put a spare brewing stand here because I had extra blaze rods. A little bit of nether wart, just for emergencies. Just to make it look a little nicer. I also put this here. This lily pad murdered me. It did, a bastard. But I got you. Now you're mounted on my wall. Okay, so this represents all the work I've done so far in this vanilla server. If you guys enjoyed this open application, and we'll see what happens. Like I said, hopefully in the fall I'll have more time to devote to another YouTube series, but I'm interested in a multiplayer series. So for now, have a good one.